Good evening and welcome. My name is Yancey Thomas, and I am a senior at Leaders, which is a NYC Outward Bound school. As most of you know, NYC Outward Bound Schools operates a network of public schools that use the outward bound approach to teaching and learning, which transforms schools and changes lives, lives like mine. Tonight, we celebrate our organization's work and spotlight the important contributions of our honoree, Carl Weisbrod, our dinner chairs and vice chairs, our underwriters and benefactors, and our board members, led by Chair Gifford Miller. Would each of you please stand and be recognized? Tonight's gala will be entirely led by students from NYC Outward Bound schools, and I will be your master of ceremonies. This reality would stun my younger self. Before I attended my school Leaders, I was quiet and antisocial. But tonight, I revel behind this mic and podium. Because at Leaders, as at all NYC Outward Bound schools, I regularly present my ideas publicly to audiences that matter. This is what our network is known for. Students taking leadership over our own learning, sharing it, and using it to empower others. As a child, I was a dreamer. I had two competing dreams: to be an astrophysicist and to be a professional wrestler. Yes, I am talking about the WWE. I would lay around imagining two very different futures, one in the wrestling ring and the other in the astrophysics lab. The wrestling ring was simple and concrete, with rules anyone could follow, while the universe was mysterious and indefinable. In the ring, there was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He never conformed to the rules of Chairman Vince McMahon. He became an all-time great because his character resonated with the audience. Who doesn't, at some point, want to rebel against those who have authority over us? The WWE distilled the complexities of life down to its most essential parts: good versus evil. And the stories it told had moral resonance. When I fantasized about my wrestling future, I knew a few things for sure. I would use my real name, Yancey Thomas, and I would be a babyface, which is shorthand for good guy. I would live by the AA standard and be amazingly amazing. I would racially diversify the pool of wrestlers, which is predominantly white, and prove that wrestling greats come in all shapes and sizes. I would change the WWE landscape so that anyone can use its platform to tell a great story. Fortunately, my wrestling fantasy was knocked way off course when a science teacher at Leaders told my crew advisor about an astronomy program I was eligible for. In short order, I was matched up with a theoretical astrophysicist. Our project was studying the chaotic nature of the four-body problem through Newton's gravitational dynamics. Speaking of which, how many of you understand chaos theory? I thought so. For the rest of you, rather than trying to explain how gravity incites seemingly random perturbations to some underlying distribution of angular momenta, I will instead explain the chaos theory by painting the broad strokes of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's WWE career. You've all heard of The Rock, right? He's known as the Great One. When he first debuted, he was known as Rocky Maivia. The creative team of the WWE did everything they could to turn him into a babyface. They promoted him as the first third-generation superstar and booked him to win the Intercontinental Championship. Any promoter would tell you he had the makings of a truly good guy. Despite this, the fans rejected him. They booed him. As a result, the WWE turned him into a heel. That's shorthand for bad guy. The chaos lies in the reaction of the crowd. At a singular unexpected moment, one person booed, and that caused a ripple effect through the entire crowd that changed The Rock's entire life. Today, he is the most famous heel to grace the WWE stage. Each of our lives are full of similarly chaotic moments that send our lives careening this way or that way. Some call this destiny, others free will. As a scientist, I vote for chaos, where small differences in initial conditions can yield widely diverging outcomes. For me, that pivotal moment was when I got rejected at Brooklyn Tech. Instead, I entered Leaders. That act sent my life careening down a completely new path, one which helped me take a real step towards realizing my scientific dreams, as well as becoming a leader who can stand in front of you and explain the inner workings of this crazy brain. This fall, I am taking the biggest step of my life by heading off to Brandeis on a full 4-year STEM Posse scholarship. Thank you. While there, I hope to use astrophysics to study the spread of cancer. If I make one discovery that leads to a single life being saved, that's one step towards mankind controlling the chaos of cancer. Which leads us back to the reason we are here tonight. As each of you considers how you can affect positive change, think of all the students like me who can so easily become lost in the chaos of our city's education system. Then remember how one great network of schools can create a chain reaction that results in thousands of young people having outcomes that diverge widely from what the initial conditions would suggest. By supporting NYC Outward Bound schools, you are supporting the kind of chaos that disrupts the norm and changes lives for the better. And now, without further ado, please welcome student Lisbeth Lucero, a senior at another NYC Outward Bound school, Brooklyn Collaborative.